George, would you be kind enough to show us how easy it is to plant tomato plants?
Sure, no problem. I've got a pot right here, and it's full of soil. There's a lot of soil in there, and I have a couple plants here, two different plants to choose from. And I wanted to show you, before I actually buried these in the ground, a couple differences. This tomato plant right here has a nice strong straight stem, and if you look really close, the points where the leaves meet the stem, that's called a node. You don't really see anything in this particular plant. But on this plant here, wherever the leaves meet the stem, there is something growing, and this little something here is called a sucker. And traditionally, to encourage a stronger yield, what we do when we plant a tomato that has suckers is we remove all these. Small suckers like this can be removed very easily with your fingers, like that. You can take off suckers just like that. Everywhere one of these leaves meets the stem is where a sucker is growing. So I took off that one, I'll take off that one. There's another one down here that's quite a bit larger. Probably not too easy to see it on the camera, so for that I'm going to use the pruner. So I'll take that one off like that. And there's a couple more down here low that I'll cut off. Guess we don't need to bury the tags. So now I've created a tomato that's pretty much sucker free. Once I get it in the ground, a lot of times a tomato will develop a really strong dominant sucker, like this one right here. And this I could allow to grow alongside with the regular growth tip of the tomato, and then we'll end up with two really strong growth tips on the tomato, both of which will produce a lot of fruit. But this stem and this stem will eventually produce suckers as well, and those have to be removed. When we go to plant a tomato, we should also remove some of the lower limbs, like this. There's one sucker I missed. And we don't plant a tomato right at the soil level that it is in its container. What we really want to do is bury it quite a bit deeper. So I'm going to make a really deep hole in my bed or in my pot. I'm going to throw in a little bit of tomato tone because it's a really good organic fertilizer for tomatoes, and it says to use 3 tablespoons, which is about what I have here. So I'm going to put that in the hole, mix it in. Remove the container that your tomato's in, whether it's a cute little 4-pack like this or a 4-inch pot like this, and then I can set it down in the hole. Now I've removed all the suckers, I've removed a lot of the lower foliage, and I'm going to bury the plant and add a little bit more soil when I'm done. And the farther down I plant the tomato in the soil, the more roots that I'll have developing along the stem. So you can imagine if I were to plant this tomato down that deep and roots were to develop all along the stem, then I'd have an enormous root system, which gives you more top growth, which gives you more fruit. So once I have it in the ground or in a pot like this, then right away I need to be thinking about how I'm going to support this plant. For a determinate tomato that's not going to grow that tall, I don't have to worry about it so much. But for a determinate and indeterminate tomato, the kind that grows tall, that will yield over a long period of time, we need to either get a really big tomato cage or we use a tomato stake, which I happen to have right here. This is a 6-foot tomato stake, and a lot of people think, well, I don't really need a 6-foot tomato stake. But if I were to put this a foot into the ground and have 5 feet sticking up, that will most likely accommodate this tomato when it reaches its full height of 5 to 6 feet. So right after you plant, you want to get the stake in the ground because you don't want to be waiting a month or so from now when the tomato needs to be staked and you don't have a stake and a windy day comes along and it falls over and snaps because that'll kill it.
So George, thank you so very much for all of this wonderful information, and we're all clear on how to grow a healthy tomato. We also want to thank you very much for all the support that you've given urban farming down through the years.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Telly's Greenhouse.
It's been a pleasure having you, and I love supporting urban farming.
Thanks. You so much.